yes on all of them with the exception of the Calgon one.
Say that.
So can just register me as a yes on those with the exception of the Calgon.
And are you voting no on that?
I am voting no.
That's no, Ms. Napolitano?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Delgado?
Yes.
Mayor Garwood?
Yes. Okay, moving on to minutes for February 22nd and February 26th budget workshop. Is there a discussion or a motion to adopt as written?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Petriello?
Yes.
Ms. Napolitano?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan?
I have to abstain for the 22nd, I was not here.
Mr. Delgado?
26th is fine.
Yes.
Mayor Garwood?
Yes. Moving on to approval of expenditures. Is there any discussion or a motion to approve? Motion to approve.
Second.
Addie, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Napolitano?
Yes.
Ms. Petriello?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan? Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Delgado? And Mayor Garwood?
Yes.
Thank you.
Managers report, please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things that we haven't discussed yet, just some quick updates. We do anticipate going out to bid for the municipal parking lot across the street within the next couple of weeks, certainly by the end of the month. The foundation is, you may have seen if you came in while it was still laid out, is gone completely across the street. The contractor also removed the underground tank. Some soil samples were taken for testing. As of the end of business today, I had not received word from Mr. Rudman on what those results are, so they're still pending. The additional work across the way will include, as we've discussed, grading what's left and doing curb, sidewalk, and additional parking spaces. So as we get more information in terms of strict timelines on that, I will share them with council and the public. It did receive recommendations and questions from the appearance committee for the proposed dog park. Shared those with Mr. Taylor. He's reviewing those and will be responding to the appearance committee. He did give a quick perusal, said that there were some good ideas, but as I talked to Lisa about prior to receiving those recommendations from the appearance committee, we can't make any promises whether or not we'll be able to incorporate, all or really any of their ideas, but the appearance committee has been helpful before with some of the projects, especially with this town hall. Road program bids, we're looking for mid-April, and we did have to move the parking meter meeting because both of our council members were unable to attend, so we do have that later on this week.
That's this Thursday.
That's this Thursday. I did meet with Parking Out myself to look at some of the available equipment they have, and it's amazing the technological advancements that have been made in the parking meter world. So I look forward to sharing that with, I guess it's Stacy and Phil that will be participating, as well as Lee, Mr. Michelle, and Mr. Ewers. And that's all I have for tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Scott, can I ask you for an update on something?
Certainly.
So we've talked about moving forward with the cable and streaming program. When do we think we're going to be able to move forward with that and get our meetings online? Obviously, we have to wait for Comcast for the cable drop, but the streaming we can start whenever we have the equipment.
If you don't mind, I'm going to ask Tom, who's...
As part of the amended supplemental temporary budget, I put money in there to be able to purchase the equipment.
Okay.
We didn't have it. We're operating under a temporary budget at this point, so we didn't have the money there, so I did put the money there, so we were going to move forward and buy the equipment. I don't want to have exact date, but we should be able to do the streaming pretty quick.
Okay, great.
The cable will take a little longer.
I also have a question. You're going out for bid on the road programs. Will that include, the Complete Streets will that be a part of that? Is that included in the bid?
I believe Pleasant Valley is our first project where Complete Streets is
Correct.
involved all the way through. So every road project moving forward gets a Complete Street review.
Okay, so all that went through that review?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it will go through it as they identify and they do the engineering.
Okay.
There's a checklist that goes through, so.
Okay.
You done?
I'm done.
Okay. All right, we will now go on to the continuation of our workshop discussion. Thank you very much for being patient on this. Scott, go ahead and continue.
Well, it sort of wrapped up what I wanted to say. And again, I'll apologize for the mistakes made by the township that caused the undue and unnecessary concern about the total coliform result last year. I mean, I'll leave it at that for now, and if council has any questions about it, I'll be happy to answer them.
Go ahead, guys.
Well, honestly, I have to say that I think the way this was handled was pretty atrocious, and astonishingly bad. At a time when people in our community are concerned about their water, I think that transparency and being aware of information is extremely, extremely, extremely important. And my primary concern throughout this entire discussion over the last several years has been that I don't want people to ever be unnecessarily concerned about the quality of their water that they're giving to their family. I met a woman last week who I've never met. She didn't even know I was on council when she brought it up. Who says she's been brushing her teeth with bottled water because she thought she had to boil water before she could use it. And, that was a result of how poorly worded and hasty this letter was. Hasty insofar as it went out quickly, but of course it also didn't go out when it was supposed to. And I'm concerned about why, Bill wasn't unaware of how he should have been noticing the public and doing it in a timely manner. Ultimately, we should have had more dialogue with DEP to make sure that the letter that went out was something that was clear to the public and that didn't cause unnecessary alarm, because this absolutely did. And that's all I have to say, but I just have to be on the record as saying it was just very poorly handled, and I'm disappointed.
And I appreciate those words, Victoria. I will answer the one question about why Bill failed to follow the regulation last year. Like I said earlier, it was not certainly out of balance. It was a mistake. And why he made that mistake does not excuse that mistake. But he did follow a process that he had followed the last time there was a positive total coliform result. Did receive word from the DEP that time that posting on the website was adequate notification. He did provide them with immediately with the public notice certification. Again, doesn't excuse him from making his mistake, but not having the DEP, having them wait almost a year before they said, by the way, that certification you gave us a year ago, you still need to take a few additional steps.
Scott, I have one question just on the timeline. That when Bill submitted that notification notice, he had checked on the township website. He didn't check any other boxes. What was the DEP's response to that? Do the level 1 assessment? That notification, not to the.
There was no direct response to that notification because of the MCL violation. Bill did receive a letter that did say that he recommended we do the level 1 assessment.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to get the timeline.
Now, one of the things that hopefully puts this into context in terms of the potential safety issues that existed last February, was told by the DEP just last week that had this exact same event occurred in April or later this year, regulations are changing. The level one assessment would have been the only step that would have had to take. Yet, the fact that Bill did the level one assessment, sorry,
Go back to that.
yes.
We won't, as of when?
What I was told was that of April 1st this year, the regulations changed, and this type of MCL violation would not trigger a tier 2 notification. It would just require that a water provider do a level 1 assessment.
So obviously, this has been a policy change at DEP because they've had problems with
Actually, the EPA.
the EPA. So this will probably cause undue concern for lots of people.
I don't want to guess why they made the change.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
Well, it seems to me that we need to make maybe an unofficial township policy that when dealing with the DEP, we need to double and triple check, because this isn't the first case where we've experienced a great deal of, their answers aren't always the same twice. And it seems like sometimes one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. So I think anytime we're really interfacing with them, we have to, and make sure we get responses when we send things in, and make sure that we're doing everything we can to dot our I's and cross our T's, because I don't see a lot of that happening at the DEP.
Right, but I want to be clear, I'm not excusing the mistake that was made administratively by the township by not doing the notice.
I agree with you.
It's not the DEP's fault. Did they exacerbate the situation? Sure, but it's the township's failure to have met the regulations last year.
And that was based on Bill assuming, and
It was an incorrect assumption, yes.
Do you know why we were told a year later to put that notice out? Like, what's triggered that, do you know?
The email that was sent by the DEP was that a resident had brought it to concern to somebody at the DEP.
It's interesting.
I echo Victoria's views on this. I think it was just unexplained, unbelievable that a letter would go out that on such a delicate topic without further review. And I hope that, Mr. Butler has learned from this, that run it by somebody else before you go and send out, verify. I think that's, one of the things that I like to do is verify, and, it would have been a very simple phone call, and that's all it would have taken. And, then you could have said to the public, look, we could have explained it before it went out, and it would not have caused this misunderstanding, this uproar, and it was totally inexcusable, to tell you the truth. It really is, and it can't happen. It can't happen.
This will never happen again. I'm furious. I have to be honest. Furious.
Yeah, we all.
When other department heads make communications with the public, is there a procedure in place where literature has to be flowed through your township manager? Or is that a
No,
standard
our
procedure or no?
our rec department, for example, puts stuff out weekly in the Sun. They put documents out.
It's different for each.
Right. Certainly, there's, and I did ask Bill to review the information before it went out. Again, he was dealing with the regulatory agency that he felt was the authority here. So he took their revised notification and put it out, and mistakenly so.
So they didn't review that with you before it went
No,
on.
I did not see that before.
first of all, that